Bandwidth for this podcast is brought to you by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
Welcome back to MacBreak Studio. We're now into part 4 of our 4-part series on the Mac Pro, the Pegasus, 4K workflow, performance, everything you want to know about editing in Final Cut Pro in a high-performance modality.
Well, not everything you want to know. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions.
I'm sure there probably will. We're trying to cover as much as we can in this, basically hour segment.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to look at today, particularly multicam as it relates to these multiple streams of 4K work, 4K video.
Exactly. You know, the most demanding thing you can do on a system is do 4K multicam editing. Right, multiple streams of 4K.
Sure.
And that's where this whole system really shines. And this is kind of almost what was designed to do and what it can really handle. Before we get there, I do want to address something from the last episode. Okay. Because we talked about a pure red raw workflow. Right. We're working straight with R3D files. In fact, in this project right here. And we're playing back in real time. We did not optimize the media. So we're playing the original R3D files and it plays back beautifully. There's a particular reason it plays back so well. And if we go up to the top right corner here under the display and quality options, you can see that we're set for better performance. And that's really the key. It's the default setting, and that's what allows us to get this playback that we're getting. If you were to select better quality, you're not going to be able to play back this red raw straight. Now, I don't know why you would. What you can do if you choose better quality, we can look at this and see if you see a difference when I choose it in the image. See anything happen?
No, I didn't really see anything.
Now, on a 4K monitor,
you would probably see
a little bit of change because the better performance, we are looking basically at this quarter to Bayer, so it's sort of essentially a kind of a compressed version of it.
Right.
But it's extremely high quality.
Very.
That allows you to cut and work. And then when you export, you don't need to switch. This is not like a proxy thing where you need to switch back before you export. I mean, you just work
just a playback thing.
Yeah, just work at better performance all the time.
Sure.
But I just thought I should mention that in case, if you're not getting playback, you might have that set at the wrong place, and you should just
maybe in a room where you got a big screen and you might be able to want to switch it over to high quality.
And just take a look at it.
Take a look at it.
Right,
yeah.
Right. But that's just something important to know. So now in terms of 4K, we're going to look at a couple of different examples here, and I'm going to go to our little Sweetwater shoot. And the first example I want to look at is something that we showed a couple of episodes ago, Shift-Command-7 for the angle viewer. And
do you need the inspector open?
I do for a minute because I just want to show what this stuff is. So you can see that some of these shots need to be rendered and some do not. Mm-hmm. And some have color correction, some do not, but you notice these are 3840 by 2160 clips, okay? Mm-hmm. So if I go to each of them, 3840 by 2160, there's a few of these, there's an angle that's been color corrected, and that's why there's a render bar there.
I see.
But these are 4K clips. The other thing to notice in the inspector is right down here that we have optimized, okay? So the first message is, if you're gonna do 4K multicam, and you want to be able to play back multiple streams, you're probably going to want to optimize, okay? Which optimize means that you're going to take your R3D files and create ProRes 4444 or 4x4 4K files.
Sure.
They're about 3 times the size. You can optimize on import, as we showed before, or you can always optimize after the fact by just choosing transcode media from up here.
Right.
You can choose to transcode your media. You actually have to have the right thing selected first, file transcode media. Transcode media, I just don't have the event selected. Let's actually show it correctly, transcode media, and then you can choose. In this case, what's going to happen, I selected an event that's got some in there that still needs to be optimized.
Right, if
there's something in there.
If both if the clips already have optimized and proxy, both of those will not be available, they're not selectable. Right,
but everything in this timeline here has been optimized. And just to make it clear, well, okay, great, are you playing optimized or proxy? If you go up here to these settings, you can see that we are playing optimize/original. And what that means is, if optimize is available, that's what I'm going to play.
Right.
If it's not, I'll play original.
Right.
But we're not playing proxies. We're playing 4K ProRes 4x4 files. And if I play some of that, So you can see I'm getting full 4K playback. And in fact, I actually have I have the wrong project, sorry. It doesn't matter, it works exactly the same way, but let me just open this because I know this one doesn't have the color correction on it, so we could play a little bit more of it. I noticed that because the angles that we're picking weren't all in the view there. So now we're playing 4 streams of optimized ProRes. Okay, and the reason I'm doing 4 in the angle editor here is because that's kind of the max, okay, which is huge. Right, that you're doing 4 streams of 4K ProRes in optimized, full 4K playback. So you should be like amazed.
I am. Are there more than 4 angles for this particular project, or just 4?
There are, but I'm only playing 4 of them. You can see down here in the editor, this actually has a few more angles. In fact, if I go down to 9, you'll see I've got more angles of red.
And it's worth pointing out here that the more angles you have in the angle viewer, it does affect performance.
Well, that's a huge point, because if you actually close Shift-Command-7, the angle viewer, it doesn't matter how many angles you have, you're going to play back in real time.
So what you're saying is, if I know what my angles are, I can actually do a cut and a switch right from the timeline without actually having the angle editor open.
You don't even need to have it open.
Wow, that's huge.
So where that comes into play is if you're on a machine that can't handle the playback performance, you can still do multicam editing in real time.
With 16 angles?
Yeah.
Or 9 in this case.
Or you can cut by not actually playing, and then you can play back in real time just by closing the angle editor. So check this out. We're at 9 angles now, right? Mm-hmm. In fact, let's see if there's more. I'll go to 16. Now this has actually 16 angles plus the audio.
Sure. Okay?
And these are all red. We didn't have 16 red cameras, just to be clear, but we had a couple red cameras and we did multiple takes at different setups and different angles, so we could create essentially this 12. I better do my counting right. So 12 angles of red plus the audio track.
Sure.
Now, this is not going to play back with optimized media. However, in fact, let's just go ahead and play it. You'll see.
It won't play back with optimized media.
No.
It's dropping frames right and left.
Yeah, I mean, this is just crazy amount of throughput. So it'll play 4 absolutely fine. But check this out. What we're going to do is switch to proxy now, okay? Because if you have more than 4 angles of 4K media, if you go to proxy, what are we doing when it's proxy? In fact, just by selecting proxy, it'll take a minute to load the proxy, and now boom, it's done.
Not even a minute, like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's just done. In fact, let's make things a little bigger. I'm going to close the inspector, and now because we're on 10.1, I can also close the browser, hide the browser, Control-Command-1, and really make a lot more room. And let's just look at the difference. We'll make this nice and big, and let's go back to optimized, and wait for a second. Okay, now we're playing optimized media, and I don't know if you notice, very little difference in the quality.
Right.
Again, this is something you would notice on the 4K monitor. But now I'll go to proxy. These proxies are 1/4 the resolution of the 4K files, which means they're
1920 by 1080?
Yeah, they're full HD files. So now what we have are 12 angles of full HD playing off this Mac Pro and this Pegasus RAID. So let's check it out. Oh, I've got some terrible cuts in here. I cut this very quickly, so there's some bad matches. Like he's not holding the microphone all of a sudden, and like I started watching, it's like, oh, I gotta fix that.
Which is why they need to buy your multicam tutorial. That's it's on our site. But they actually have a decent cut.
But you can see that we're playing 12, and in fact, it's better than that. If I do Control-Command-1 to bring back the unhide the browser here, I actually have an example here of 24 angles. So check this out. You can only show 16 at a time, but if you look at the bank switcher down here, if I select the second bank, we've got another 8, including the audio. So there's 24 angles here. And we're only showing 16 at a time, but check this out.
Wow.
And now we have different cameras, because we have 12 angles of red, but the other angles here, there's some GoPro cameras you can see here, some other cameras that
Canon
included.
5D and a Nikon D700.
And so those are a couple different examples of multicam editing on a Mac Pro and a Pegasus RAID with either optimized or proxy media.
I have to say, Mark, this stuff is amazing to me. The fact that you can do all of this stuff right on the desktop with this Mac Pro, this Pegasus, and have all these streams of video playback. It's incredible. And I love the fact how you brought it out that you don't necessarily need this. You can edit on an off-the-shelf drive. You can edit on a MacBook Pro. You can edit on an iMac. It just all depends on whether you want to transcode or not.
Right.
And that's the key. Because what you're saying is you still need to transcode if you want to play back all those streams, even on a system like this. But it's just how long you want to wait. That's really the bottom line. How long do you want to wait for all this stuff to happen? So time is money. So if you're somebody that just wants to get the stuff in and start cutting with it, then this is probably the way you want to go. If you're working on a laptop and your resources are tight, well, you could still do this on a laptop.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's still, everything that we've shown here, you can do 4K multicam editing on a laptop. With kind of everything off the shelf, you don't have to have this gear, but this gear allows you to do very kind of fail-safe work, and in a production environment, it's required.
So, thanks, Mark. You did a tremendous job doing all this research and playing with this and bringing a lot of useful information to our audience. I'm sure we're going to be getting even more questions. And to that end, if you do want to follow us at Ripple Training on Twitter or Facebook, you can email us at support, and we'd just love to hear how you're using these products. We have a new multicam tutorial that Mark's just produced, and you can actually cut this very project that he's been showing you, and it's great. So thanks for watching MacBreak Studio. We'll see you in the next episode.